Atlanta Falcons, we're coming for you. How's that for confidence, right? Oh man, excuse me. I'm probably not as confident as that sounds, honestly, but nevertheless, here we come, Atlanta Falcons. We are heading into Atlanta to face the 3-2 Atlanta Falcons. They just came off of a nice win this past Sunday. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders are trying to break a 3-game skid, and that last game was atrocious. We're trying to get that out of our systems. So the Commanders, this is honestly looking like a must-win for them. They have got to beat the Atlanta Falcons, and I think they got to beat them soundly to really feel like that they can make a good run. But I'm telling you, this is not a team that is going to roll over for you. Yes, you got a young rookie quarterback, but this is a good team. This is a young, up-and-coming team. It's a very good team. And honestly, this was one of those games that we had circled because we really thought we were going to see Taylor Heineke. Maybe you will if something happens and, Desmond Ryder gets hurt or something like that. We don't want to wish that at all. But otherwise, we're seeing Ryder. And honestly, I want to see what the kid can do. I really do. I watched a little bit of that game last week. I think he played really well. He made some really good passes. He made some plays with his legs. A lot of stuff that we've been talking about with Sam Howell. I mean, it's going to be a good game. You're featuring 2 young up-and-coming quarterbacks. So it's going to be interesting to see. But, if we take a look at the injury report, not really anything that stands out at you, per se. I mean, one thing that I looked at, Calais Campbell, he didn't practice on Wednesday. No report for Thursday or Friday that I see of. No report for game status. It was a non-injury related rest. I don't know if he's sick. I don't know if it's a family emergency or anything like that. Maybe some Falcon fans can kind of fill us in on that. But Calais Campbell, we're not quite sure on him. As far as the rest of the guys who are on the injury report, Bud Dupree with a wrist, Caleb McGarry with a knee, and Jonas Smith with the ankle, all were full practices on Friday with a couple of these guys, McGarry and Smith, who were limited during the first part of the week, but still no game status on any of those guys. I'm sure that they will probably be ready to play if possible. But then we go to the Washington Commanders. Again, nothing really stands out except for Charles Leno and Curtis Samuel. Those 2 guys actually both have finger injuries. So, Charles Leno, our offensive tackle, we really do need him. So that one is a little bit of, it's a little concerning, but he was full practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. No specification on the game just yet. Same thing with Curtis Samuel, full practice, but no specification. I expect both of them will probably play, but just in case, you never know. F.A. Obata, he's trying to make his way back from knee injury. He was full practice. He's questionable for this weekend. So nothing really stands out. The biggest concerns with the injuries for the Washington Commanders, of course, what we covered in our last video, Brandon and I, was, of course, Derek Forrest put on injured reserve, and then our team captain for special teams, Jeremy Reeves, also on injured reserve. So that one really hurts. I like Derek Forrest, so I know that Brandon wasn't as high on Forrest as I am, but I still think we need Forrest, and so that's concerning. Anytime that you have some injuries in that secondary, it's very concerning because the secondary it's given up a lot of plays so far, especially plays that have, went over on that side with Emmanuel Forbes. So, with these injuries, you're not really going to have the luxury of benching a lot of guys. You're going to have to play them. So, we're going to get into our keys to victory, and it's going to evolve. What do we do with our secondary? How about we just go ahead and get into all that, all right? So our 3 keys to victory, what are we going to do? Well, I think the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the pressure off Sam Howell, and how we do that is we need to run the football. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? Honestly, I think that Brandon kind of said the same thing when we were going to the Chicago game. We need to run the football, and nothing's changed with that. We need to run the football. We need to give it to Brian Robertson. We need to give it to Antonio Gibson as long as he can hold on to the football. And just, Chris Rodriguez. Let's get him into the action as well. But let's get those guys some touches. Let's keep the football and let's run it. Let's slow things down. Let's keep the other team off the field. That is the second key. Ball control, so, let's keep the other team off the field. Time of possession, let's roll time of possession. If we roll time of possession, that means we're running the football successfully. We're passing when we need to. Maybe we're doing short to intermediate passes, which sometimes kind of acts as an extension to the running game as well. And so you're keeping the football, and hopefully you're scoring touchdowns and finishing drives. That's the most important thing with that. But, the biggest thing is that you are keeping the other team's offense off the field. And when they are on the field, here's the third key to the game. You need to throw the kitchen sink at Desmond Ridder. You need to make him uncomfortable. Do not allow him to get into a rhythm early in the ball game, because, I watched him play. He can get into a rhythm, and he can take over a game, and he can play really well. I mean, don't underestimate the kid, all right? So I think you need to get into his head early in the game. You need to send some pressure. You need to send all 4 of those guys. You need to send a safety after them. You need to send a linebacker blitz, something. You need to stop with this stalemate of, we'll rush our front 4. Just your straight up rush, no stunts, no nothing. Just, see if they can get to those guys, which, first rounders, you think that should be enough. But no, you need to get a little bit more exotic with your blitzes. You need to do something. You need to confuse the guy. Let's do it. Let's make Ryder uncomfortable. And I think with that being said, that's going to help the secondary out a whole lot. And I think with the secondary, you need to play more coverages, not man coverage, but more zone coverages. You need to not keep guys like Emmanuel Forbes out on an island right now. I don't think he can handle it. He's not an island boy just yet, all right? I mean, you need to get him some wins under his belt and get his confidence back up. He's going to be all right. I really, honestly, I think he's going to be all right. But you're just going to have to give him some confidence, and how you do that is we just need to give that secondary some help, because obviously right now I think we expected too much out of them. Quite frankly, they have not answered the bell. None of the defense has answered the bell. And I blame all of that on Jack Del Rio. Really do. The coaching staff. It's been horrible. And we've covered that ad nauseum. So those are the keys to the game. Run the football, ball control, eat up the clock. Time of possession has to be doubled in our favor. Put pressure on Desmond Ridder. I think that if you could do all that, you're going to win this football game. But I'm telling you, the Atlanta Falcons, they are not going to roll over. They are a good young team. Very good young team. This is not going to be an easy game to play at all, and you got to wrap them up. You got to tackle them. You can't let Desmond Ridder sit back and find the open guy, because, he is going to make the plays when it happens. And, you got to be ready. You got to be ready. I mean, he both him and Sam Howell, To me, I think they're both equal in talent, and I just think that because of that, either one of those guys can win this game. But I think at the same time, you don't want to put the game in either one of these guys' hands. They need some help, especially Sam Howell. He's been pressured so much. He's been sacked so much. I mean, what was it? I think it was 29 sacks, maybe. I'll have to look it up. But it's been an ungodly amount of sacks that Sam Howell's taken. Some of it has been his fault. A lot of it hasn't. But you need to take some pressure off Sam Howell, and you do that by running the football. Folks, let me know in the comments what you think. What are your keys to the football game? Hopefully it's something similar to what I've said. If not, let's talk about it. Let's find out what your keys to the game is. And with that said, folks, again, if you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, give it a share, give us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what we can do to do things better for you. Again, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We desperately need your subscriptions. As well, hey, those who have subscribed, make sure you are watching the content. I've noticed that a lot of the people who are watching these videos are not subscribed. So just make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when we release another video. And with that said, I will see you after the game.